my guest that I was going to be bringing on today, and I'm about to introduce him. This is a really special interview for me growing up in Los Angeles. I'm really excited to bring on Ryan Turell in a moment. Played his high school basketball at Valley Torah High School, now has been a star at Yeshiva University, and he had offers to play at Division I, and he opted instead to play for Yeshiva University, where he's been the leading scorer for the Maccabees for 3 straight years, averaging 26 points last year, or this past season, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 77% shooting from the floor. In fact, the Maccabees, he's led them to 37 straight wins, the longest active streak in the NCAA currently. And he's trying to become the first Orthodox Jewish basketball player to play in the NBA. He's been garnering interest. And with that, it is my pleasure to bring on to the show Ryan Turell. First of all, good morning, Ryan. I appreciate you joining me. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? Good morning. I'm doing well, and I'm glad to be here and excited to be here.
So let me first ask you, because you're in New York right now, so I have to imagine that it's 11:30. Have you already gone up your shots this morning?
It's actually I'm in Los Angeles right now. I'm
Okay.
here for a little bit. School's on Zoom, so got an early morning workout with my trainer Turell, and it was a quick lift, and now I'm here and excited.
And by the way, what do your workouts, what do those regiments typically consist of?
Well, it's different every time, but it's really to prepare me for the next level, and work on things specifically for me to get better and to get my body right to play at the next level and to play wherever I end up playing.
And by the way, so my family is Jewish. I went to Pressman Academy, Temple Beth Am, and so I'm living in my own apartment right now. But I understand that every Friday night for Shabbat, my family always invites me over for Shabbat. I understand, Ryan, how good those Friday night dinners are. You got the challah, you got the hummus. So you're playing a lot on Saturday nights. How do you make sure you don't go overboard and maintain kind of that Shabbat diet and not go too hard when you know you're going to be playing Saturday night?
Right. It is a funny thing on the team. Everyone discusses, hey, do we like Saturday night games more? Like, some guys hate them, some guys love them. I personally love them because you get the whole community out there. You don't just get the school, you get people from, outside who don't usually have the time during the week to come see you guys play, but they get to see and they get to bring their families out Saturday nights. So I think our crowds are very alive and maybe the best they are on Saturday nights. But as far as diet goes, you just got to be careful to not eat too much cholent and try to eat cleaner.
And by the way, when I think about some of my favorite Jewish basketball players, obviously you have recent guys like the Amari Stoudemire's, the Jordan Farmar's, the Omri Caspi's, Jason Caponos, but there are a lot of older basketball players that grew up in the 60s. You have the Dolph Shays, you have the Rudy LaRussos of the world, the Art Haymans of the world. There are a lot of these guys that I know played before you and I were even born. But some of the more recent players, do you draw any inspiration from those guys? How much did you kind of look up to and admire those more recent Jewish basketball players that were playing in the NBA?
Well, for me, I grew up a Laker fan, so Jordan Farmar was, and he played at a high school right by my house. So watching him in the NBA was really cool. And a guy like Danny, who came from Israel and grew up in Israel is playing in the NBA right now. He's a rookie. I think he's inspiring a lot of kids out there, and I'm definitely inspired by him. And I want to hopefully keep the trend going.
Now, one of the consistent traits when I've spoken to a lot of people prior to bringing you on, when I read different articles and things of that nature, the consistent trait that was always highlighted was your work ethic and your diligence to hone your craft and to improve every facet of your game. And obviously you were privileged in that you were around basketball your entire life. Your dad played at UCSB. In fact, the Gauchos probably should have won the first round against Creighton in the NCAA tournament this year. It's a shame they didn't make that layup with like 3 seconds left, but it is what it is. And obviously you have a close relationship with Kiki Vandeweghe as well. So you've been around basketball your entire life. How much of your work ethic do you think stems from being around those individuals, and how instrumental was it that you got to grow up with those people right in your backyard?
Oh, it's everything, to be able to see these type of role models around me and see these people, work hard and whatever they do. My dad wakes up at 4:30 a.m. every day, and he just gets ready for work and then he goes to work. To see that, and in something that he does, and then I know Kiki is an extremely hard worker, and they both always told me, it's what you do when no one's watching. It's what you do when the lights are off. If you just show up to the game, not putting in extra work, not putting in that extra hour, not putting in those extra, shots up, you're not gonna you're not gonna be great on the floor. You're not gonna do what you want on the court. But if you, work hard and show up early and bust your butt every time you step on practice court, right? And every time you get out for an early morning workout, and every time you do that, you improve yourself. You get that much better, right? And if you just do the work and you put the work in when no one's watching, it's going to translate.
Now, typically, you don't always hear about Division I caliber basketball players playing Division III. It's normally the opposite way around. You normally see guys like Duncan Robinson with the Miami Heat or Derek White with the San Antonio Spurs, Division III players that had to prove themselves first to then make that leap to Division I. And you had an opportunity to go to Division I school. You had initially committed to Army, then you decided to decline that then decommit from there. And you even had an opportunity perhaps walk on at some bigger schools like Stanford. How thankful are you that you ultimately made the decision that you made to go to Yeshiva? And how much do you relish the opportunity to kind of be a beacon of hope for some of these future aspiring Jewish basketball players?
It's a dream come true. It's an absolute dream come true. When I was coming down to my decision, after I verbally committed to West Point, I sat back and really thought about my decision, and we contacted the rabbi up there, and he said, if you're going to be a religious Jew, it's going to be very tough for you to come to this school. You're going to have to shoot guns, and it's going to be hard to get kosher food and whatnot. But so I sat back and I told my dad, listen, I went to Jewish schools my whole life. I've kept kosher, I've kept Shabbos. What am I doing here? Why am I sacrificing my religion, my Judaism, who I am, for just to say I'm a Division I basketball player? And at the end of the day, we said, listen, if you perform and you win, they're gonna find you. The talent, they're gonna find where you're at. You just have to do what you just have to perform and win. And I don't regret the decision at all. I love Yeshiva, and the fact is that if I'm able to inspire just one kid out of it, to show them that there's a pathway. Kids like me who don't know what they're doing right now, who are Division I athletes, right? Could be Division I athletes. To be able to go to, I want to set the pathway to be able to go to Yeshiva and go and stick with your religion and still play basketball at a high level and get scouted by professional teams.
And for me, when it comes to discerning talent, right, evaluating players, for me, it doesn't really matter. It's pretty easy to tell, hey, is this guy talented or is this guy not talented? I don't really care what league you're in, what division you're in. For me, if you're averaging 26 points a game 8 rebounds, 77% shooting from the floor. I don't really give a damn what league you're in or any of that nonsense, because to me, in my eyes, you're a really good player. You have to be a damn good player to be averaging those stats. But obviously, I'm sure you get a lot of pushback. What do you say to people that maybe question or try to question and devalue your accomplishments, your success, simply on the basis that you play at Yeshiva University as opposed to a bigger brand or a more recognizable school? Does that ever bother you?
No, it inspires me. When people, aren't in your corner and people are doubting, it just makes me want to work harder and prove them wrong. Luckily I've had a really good support system around me, and a lot of people, showing love and respect, and on my side, and believing in me. But it just inspires me to work harder and get in the gym and try to prove those guys wrong.
And when was the moment that you realized on your basketball journey that, hey, you know what, I can be a pretty special basketball player? Was there a moment? Was there, after you scored 36 against Manhattan this year, what was there a specific moment when you realized, hey, I can kind of be someone special as I'm embarking on this basketball journey of mine?
Well, at a young age, I always believed in myself. Even when I wasn't the best player on the court, even when I was wasn't the tallest, strongest. I was definitely one of the weaker players growing up. But for me personally, I just love the game so much, and I've always wanted to do it, and I've always wanted to try to be the best at what I do. So I just kept working at it and working at it and working at it, and to get this recognition is just an unbelievable and humbling feeling, and it just makes me want to work harder to try to achieve that goal.
And a lot of times when we see great basketball players or really good basketball players, they're typically a little bit undersized for their position when it comes to transferring to the NBA, right? You see a lot of college bigs that are 6'7", 6'8", and maybe in the NBA they're a little bit undersized to serve that center role. But you're a 6'7" combo guard. You shot the ball 43%, 42% from the three-point line last year. So you shoot the lights out, you rebound well, you assist well, you can create your own shot, you got good handling skills, and most importantly, you play elite level defense, which is an extremely important trait at the next level. How do you think your game would transfer to the next level if you were given that opportunity?
Listen, if I was given that opportunity, I'll do whatever the team needs. If the team needs me to knock down threes, I'll be that guy. If the team needs me to set screens and set a good pick, I'll be that guy. If it needs me to set up, whoever player, I'll be that guy. At the end of the day, it's about making your team better and knowing your role. And if I'm able to get that opportunity, I would be a guy who fills a role, and I'd be happy to do so.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I did find that really interesting, that you have a good understanding of what's needed, what's required, and what's important, right? Filling a role is so important. A lot of players, I heard you mention before, they don't really understand what that aspect of basketball means, kind of serving your role. How much did you learn from playing in some of those pickup games with Johnny Juzang and Alfonso McKinney and Kihei Clark and some of these talented players, Amari Bailey, some of these talented players here in the Los Angeles area, about just kind of filling your role and serving a specific need when you're out there on the floor?
Right. I mean, you learn a lot. You learn that, the most talented team doesn't usually win those games. It's the team that, everybody does their job. The rebounder gets rebounds. The three-point shooter hits those shots. The guy who can set people up sets people up. If the more talented team usually doesn't win, it's the team that does their role and the team that works harder. And if everybody's doing a role, you can win championships. You can win games.
And was there a specific player growing up that you tried to emulate or tried to model your career after? And yeah, is there someone perhaps, or you kind of just looked at some of the older players growing up?
Right. Well, I like to soak in a lot as much as possible. Kobe growing up was my favorite player of all time. His work ethic and his Mamba mentality, his killer instinct, and his clutch gene, that was just very inspirational. But I like to pick and nitpick on, not nitpick, but like take out clips of different specific players. I'm like, oh, I want to get good at that. Oh, I want to get good at that. The way I see JJ Redick coming off a screen tight, always moving without the ball. Oh, I want to get good at that. The way Kobe's footwork, I want to get good at that. Watch this guy. Watch this guy. It watches the way he closes out and then recovers on defense. So I try to, pick from plays that I like and players that I like, and see how, or successful players, and see how they play in the league, and try to learn from that and emulate my game after that.
And you kind of mentioned a little bit with a guy like JJ Redick. Is there someone in the NBA currently that's playing that you think your game most resembles? Whether or not you wanted to emulate their game, when you look at the way that you play, is there a current NBA player that you think, hey, my game really resembles theirs?
That's a good question. I personally don't think so. Maybe if I got the role, something like Alex Caruso, or Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, or something like that. But I'm my own person. I don't personally know what game I resemble, but to even get the looks and even get the comparisons is just an honor.
Well, Alex Caruso, you definitely have the height advantage over him. So I do think, and you've got the hair, probably most importantly. I think he'd be really jealous of that you're just rocking this long hair and he's on a Manscaped commercial. But I do love Alex Caruso. No shot at Alex Caruso.
Yeah,
so let me ask you, obviously your season got cut short a little bit prematurely. So you're in the offseason now. You didn't get a chance to play in the NCAA tournament this year because they canceled it. So what in this offseason are you trying to practice? You trying to work on the most to refine in your basketball repertoire?
Well, one, you can never be a good enough shooter. You see the best shooter in the world, Steph Curry, just getting shots up every day and getting better at his craft every day. So you can never be a good enough shooter. So definitely improve on that part of my game, and my ball handling and one-on-one skills. I definitely want to get better at that. Having being a tall guard, I definitely want to be able to handle the ball really well, and being able to play point guard at the next level. That's definitely a goal of mine. Shooting guard also, but I definitely need to tighten up my handles and be able to take guys.
And has your dream always been to play in the NBA since you were a child, or was it initially, hey, you know what, I'd like to play Division I basketball, or has it always been, what's always been your ultimate goal when it comes to basketball?
So it was always just get to the next level for me. When I was in middle school, it was like, okay, I just want to play varsity in 9th grade. And then when I got to high school, hey, I want to play Division I basketball, and then now I'm in college. It's, hey, if I can play professionally anywhere. And the fact that I got some looks is just humbling, and it was unbelievable to me. But it's inspiring me to work harder and try to achieve that goal.
And final two questions before I let you go. This is a current NBA question. If every team in the NBA is healthy, who are you taking to win the title this year?
I got to go with my Lakers, man. I got to go with my Lakers. Can't bet against LeBron. That guy is unbelievable. And, if everybody's healthy, if AD's healthy, and that team gels with the addition of Drummond and, all their role guys, I think they have the best shot.
And finally, Ryan, how can we follow you? How can people check out your highlights and do all of these things to continue to support you on this journey?
You can go on Max Live and look it up on maxlive.com. That's where all our games are. And shout out to Kiva Poppers who's done an amazing job running that and making highlights and running the whole broadcast. So that shout out to that man right there. We call him the Woj of YU, YU Woj, because he drops all the in backside the practice info and all the stuff behind closed doors. He drops that info, and so we call him the YU Woj.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you got it.
And I was just going to add too that one of your teammates, actually, or one of your former teammates, I don't even know if he's watching. I don't even know if he remembers me. I actually played against him. Simcha Halpert, I know, was one of your teammates when he played at Shalhevet. I actually played against him at Pressman.
Really?
And at Pressman Academy. Now, I think he's going to be a little upset to know. I'm pretty sure we beat their team, but hey, no need to brag right here. We'll see how he responds. But
yeah, that's great.
Yes. But Ryan, thank you so much. I'm really not only impressed with your journey, but I think we all are really inspired by what you're doing. And your quest to become the first Orthodox Jewish basketball player in the NBA is not far-fetched at all. I know you're already garnering interest, and just congratulations and best of luck moving forward, man. It's great to catch up, and I really appreciate you joining the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time, and wish the best of luck to you.
All right, Ryan Turell.